you pump. You got to get ready for the big payback. The big payback. That's where I land. Oh, for the big payback. The big payback. I can do wheeling. I can do dealing. Yes, we can. But I don't do no damn squealing. I can dig rapping. I'm ready. I can dig scrapping. But I can't dig that backstabbing. Oh no! No, brother, get ready. That's the fact. Get ready, you mother, for the big payback. The big pay. Let me hit him, Fred, hit him. Hey, hey, long, long. Took my money, got my honey. Don't want me to see what you're doing to me. I can get back. I gotta deal with you. Gotta deal with you. Gotta deal with you. I gotta deal with you. Hey, let me tell you. Get down with my woman. That ain't right. You haul in dust. You wanna fight. Look at you. Don't do me no done favor. I don't know karate, but I know Karaza. Yes, we do. Hey, get ready. That's the fight, girl. Get ready, you mother, for the big payback. The big payback. Hey, I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm the son of a man. But don't take care of you. Then I'm the king. Get ready for the big payback. Hey, hit me again. Lord, Lord. Yeah, get ready. I need it. I need a hit again. Same one. Same one. Same one. Get the back. Lord. The big payback. Sold me out. Took your change. Said my woman had it all arranged. Tried to make the deal. She wants to squeal. But I had my boys on the heels. Saw when you come in.
Hello, Sinla. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. Or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears. And remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
Hi, I'm Denisha Edwards, City News Manager for the Drum newspaper in Ponchatoula and Baton Rouge. My job is to make sure your stories get told. I make sure you know what's happening in your community. Whether that's exciting, informative, or just entertainment, your news matters at the Drum. But we can't do it all alone, and no one knows the community better than you. That's why I'm asking you to share your stories with me. At the Drum, we believe a community that is informed is a strong one. So if you've got important news, witty insight, upcoming events, or even a wedding announcement, call me at 225-927-3717 or email me news to news@thedrumnewspaper.info. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter today as we report your news.
Ice Open with Tony Brown on FM 107.5, The Vibe, and 1110 AM, KGTP, Alexandria, Pineville.
Hello, Sinla. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. Or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears. And remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
Hi, I'm Denisha Edwards, Sitting News Manager for the Drum newspaper in Ponchatoula and Baton Rouge. My job is to make sure your stories get told. I make sure you know what's happening in your community. Whether that's exciting, informative, or just entertainment, your news matters at the Drum. But we can't do it all alone, and no one knows the community better than you. That's why I'm asking you to share your stories with me. At the Drum, we believe a community that is informed is a strong one. So if you've got important news, witty insight, upcoming events, or even a wedding announcement, call me at 225-927-3717 or email me news to news@thedrumnewspaper.info. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter today as we report your news.
Hi, this is Bianca Brown, the Mobile Cincy Lady. Are you looking for a dream job? Well, you need to give me a call today. I'm looking for new recruits to join my team of Cincy consultants. Join Cincy today and get your starter kit for only $99 plus shipping and tax. Benefits include additional income, flexibility, incredible friendships, world-class training, recognition, personal growth, discounts on amazing Cincy products, and the opportunity to earn fabulous incentive trips around the world like the all-expense-paid trip I earned to Cancun, Mexico. Interested in joining Cincy? Give me a call today at 318-618-1832. That's 318-618-1832. Please refer to my website, lapeacefulsense.cincy.us, for our income disclosure statement.
The Rapides Parish School Board is looking for volunteers interested in helping parents and educators make a positive impact in the lives of young people. If you, your business, your church, or community organization would like to help empower and elevate young people in our community, please consider being a mentor. Effective mentoring has the ability to help children both cope with and overcome many of the obstacles they face in today's world. Please visit our website or social media pages to sign up to partner with educators and parents to ensure the children of Rapides Parish have the supports they need. Let's continue to show the world that Rapides Parish truly is better together.
Hey y'all, spring is here and you're ready to get out and celebrate. Here's what's happening around the state. June 3rd through 5th, Bugs and Bands in Kickapoo. June 4th through 6th, Bon Mange in Gaines. And Sicilian Heritage Festival in Independence. June 5th, the Peach Festival in Ruston and Cajun Country Jam in Gonzales. So make your plans to laissez les bon temps rouler.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaIsATrip.com.
Hi, this is Dolores with Robinson Family Mortuary. The COVID-19 pandemic has been devastating to our community, and we have served numerous families affected by it. Planning a funeral is difficult, but a sudden loss during this pandemic can be even more stressful. Robinson Family Mortuary can help ease your stress and serves all of Central Louisiana, including Natchitoches, Oakdale, Marksville, Leesville, Fort Polk, and most every parish in the entire state. The newly renovated Robinson Family Mortuary is located at 1815 Military Highway in Pineville, and we can be reached anytime by calling 318-442-7300. That's 318-442-7300, or visit us online at robinsonfm.com. Robinson Family Mortuary, without delay, can arrange for a traditional funeral service, cremation, ship in or ship out, including military. We accept all assignable and verifiable life insurance policies. With just one call to 318-442-7300, all of your homegoing needs can be taken care of at our newly remodeled Robinson Family Mortuary. Robinson Family Mortuary, a family serving families.
Eyes Open with Tony Brown on FM 107.5, The Vibe, and 1110 AM, KGTP, Alexandria Pineville.
Hello, Sinla. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. Or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears. And remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
Good morning, this is Q Johnson Green on this Wednesday, July 7th. Today's forecast is brought to you by Rapides Primary, a new beginning in quality health care. Today, partly sunny, slight chance of showers and thunderstorms in the morning, then thunderstorms likely and a chance of showers in the afternoon. Highs in the upper 80s, south winds up to 10 miles per hour. I'm Ms. Q Johnson Green. That's your Eyes Open weather forecast on this Wednesday. Have a great day.
Rapides Primary Healthcare Center is your federally qualified community health care center and is located at 1217 Willow Glen River Road in Alexandria. They are now accepting new patients. Are you tired of spending long hours in hospital emergency rooms waiting to receive non-critical health care services? Do you need affordable medical, dental, and mental health care? Do you need quality health care for you and your baby for prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood? Do you need to sign your family up for the Affordable Care Act or Medicaid? Then look no further than Rapides Primary Health Care Center. It is the affordable, timely answer to all your family's health care needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapides Primary is certified Kid Med site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance are accepted for medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, including Obamacare and Medicaid, call 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapides Primary Healthcare Center, a new beginning in quality health care and a proud impact partner of the Eyes Open Radio Network.
It's time for the scripture of the day. And now, the beautiful Bianca Brown.
Good morning. It's Bianca Brown with your scripture of the day. Today's scripture comes from the book of Romans, chapter 8, verses 38 and 39. For I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither high or low, neither anything in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord. Today's scripture is being brought to you by the Monroe Street Church of Christ in Alexandria, Louisiana. If you would like the assurance that you have the love of God in your life, why don't you give the church a call? You can give them a call at 318-448-2494 and ask to speak with Brother Jesse Allen. Or as always, write the Church of Christ at 2008 Monroe Street, Alexandria, Louisiana, 71301. As we always say, we will continue to lift you up in prayer and in the precious name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
It's time for the Daily Bread with Tony Brown.
What am I doing? Learning to trust. Isaiah 66, 7 through 13. Trust in the Lord and do good, dwell in the land, and feed on his faithfulness. The author writes, when I stuck my camera into the bush to take a picture of the baby robins, they opened their mouths without opening their eyes. They were so used to having Mama Robin feed them. Whenever the branches moved, they didn't even look to see who or what was causing the disturbance. That is the kind of trust that loving mothers instill in their children. That is the kind of mom I am blessed to have. Growing up, I could eat whatever food she put on the table without fear that it would harm me. Although she made me eat things I didn't like, I knew she did so because they were good for me. If she cared only about what was easy for her, she would have let me eat junk food all day, every day. No matter what Mom told me to do or not to do, I knew she had my best interest in mind. She wasn't trying to help me from having fun, or stop me from having fun. She was trying to protect me from being hurt. That is the kind of relationship we have with God, who compared himself to a mother. As one whom his mother comforts, so I will comfort you. Isaiah 66:13. As his children, we have no ransom to fear what happens to us or to envy what happens to others. Do not be envious of the workers of iniquity. Psalms 37:1. When we trust his goodness, we are fed by his faithfulness. Lord, we're thankful for this example of motherhood, but even more, we're grateful for your faithful mothering of us displayed in your compassion day by day. Help us to find rest in you. God's care surrounds us. I'm Tony Brown, and that's today's Daily Bread.
Did you get the COVID-19 vaccine? Now you can enter to win cash. 4 people will win $100,000 with one lucky vaccine recipient winning the grand prize of $1 million. Under 18, you can win one of 9 $100,000 college scholarships. So get the vaccine and take your shot at $1 million. To enter, visit shotatamillion.com or call 855-453-0774. Brought to you by the Louisiana Department of Health.
Yeah, I'm running a little late. Eyes open news time, 38 minutes past the hour. Q, how you doing this morning?
Great, ready to go. Good morning.
Well, let's go then. Top of the morning to y'all. How we sounding online? We sounding okay? You checking that out for? Check that out, okay? I want to make sure that we're sounding okay online, that we're not over-modulated. We have an exciting show lined up for you on this Hump Day Wednesday. Let me put my glasses on and see what we got going on here. Wednesday, July the 7th. We have in the studio live this morning, Rapides Superintendent of Schools, Jeff Powell. He is looking for volunteers needed for a system-wide mentoring program. So we'll be telling you about that at the 7 o'clock hour. Hopefully we have State Representative Ted James at 8:15 talking about the Legislative Black Caucus asking for the United States Justice Department for a top-to-bottom, bottom-to-top investigation of the Louisiana State Police. This in the wake of the murder of Ronald Green at the hands of Troop F State Police up there in Monroe, Louisiana, covering it up for a year and a half, writing in every documentation from the supervisor level to the command level that he died of his injuries due to a car accident. So they have to really kind of take a look at that thing from top to bottom. How can we trust the state police to investigate unarmed killings of black people locally, whether it's a local city police or the sheriff's office, when they're not even doing right themselves? So we have to fix this problem. So hope we'll have the chair of the Legislative Black Caucus coming on at 8 o'clock hour, followed by Robert Williams with No Limit for Recovery Power Summer Camp that kicked off on Monday. And of course, there's still a couple of spots available. It's just $15 a week. It lasts all month long. We'll be telling you about that. Listen up, the 8 o'clock hour for Brother Robert Williams, No Limit for Recovery Power Summer Camp. I think on yesterday they said they had about 38 kids. They have enough room for about 45 kids, so they have a few more spots available. Some of the national news we're going to be sharing with you this morning. An Ohio police chief retires after video shows him putting a Ku Klux Klan sign on a black officer's desk. Yeah, so we'll have CNN's Laura Jarrett reporting on that story. Race's leading national news. ESPN attempts to contain controversy embroiling the network as NBA Finals got underway. On yesterday, the New York Times publishes an explosive story regarding disparaging comments Rachel Nichols made about colleague Maria Taylor on Sunday. On Tuesday night, the fallout was visible on ABC instead of Nichols on the sidelines of the NBA Finals, which she has been seen for years now. As the games got underway, viewers instead saw rising star Malika Andrews covering the Bucks versus Suns face-off. That was because earlier in the day, ESPN pulled Nichols as the network continued to attempt to get a handle on the controversy ignited by the New York Times story. But while it pulled Nichols from sideline reporting duties, it said that she would continue to host her afternoon show, The Jump. So we got that story. ESPN, Rachel Nichols, and Maria Taylor all look bad in this drama. Remember we told you about the young man who died in a fireworks accident? He's a National Hockey League player. Well, a fireworks accident that killed the National Hockey League goaltender Matisse Kiviniks was at the coach's house, the team says. We'll tell you about that. Tropical storm Elsa bringing heavy rains and life-threatening storms. Millions of people are facing life-threatening storm surge, heavy winds, potential isolated tornadoes, and heavy rains that could create flooding up and down the coast of Florida as Tropical Storm Elsa approaches landfall on this morning. So we're going to give you an update there for those who have loved ones over in Florida, as I do, right in the trajectory of Elsa. I need to check up on my son this morning, Q, see how my grandbabies are doing, and, of course, my son and his family's doing. Louisiana man pulled unconscious from the water near Destin, Florida. There was a drowning of a Louisiana man in Destin, Florida over the 4th of July weekend. We got that story. Topping our news this morning, out of Hammond, a body found in a Hammond laid along the highway for up to 30 days. According to the sheriff's office. In Pineville, police are searching today for 2 suspects following an armed robbery of the Dollar General store located on Highway 28 East. At Alexandria, defense files new motion to reduce Kayla Giles' bond ahead of reset trial. In slaying of hapless panhandler outside Baton Rouge Trader Joe's, lawsuit filed against the accused killer.
We'll tell you about that. Alleged leader of Baton Rouge drug ring took pillowcase full of money from dead man's home, warrant says, as prosecutors accused the alleged leader of a violent Baton Rouge drug ring Tuesday of burglarizing an associate's home and taking a pillowcase full of money just hours after the man's killing in September 2017. Black lawmakers back top to bottom federal probe into abuse cover-up at the Louisiana State Police. That's what I was telling you about with Ted James earlier. Where's Kara, the snake? Search for missing Mara python ramps up with goggles and zoo experts. The Blue Zoo Aquarium inside the mall of Louisiana has ramped up their search of Kara. That's a mall I'm not going to, Q, anytime soon. Got a big 10-foot Burmese python slithering the hallways into the retail outlets stores. They still haven't found her. Sha'Carri Richardson will officially miss the Olympics after being left off a relay roster. We have that story. On first day, LSU's new president embraced the coronavirus vaccines. Less so, New Orleans Saints. You know, I always say, when, you know, white folk mess up and do some racist, stupid stuff or some sexist stuff, they always bring in qualified black people to try to clean up. So this is the case in LSU's case, also the case with the Louisiana State Police, that they got, you know, another brother to come in to try to clean up the mess that the white boys, the good old boys, just keep that systemic racism, keep not promoting black people, keep, you know, have the troops beating up on black people who are unarmed and, you know, covering it up. This nonsense has to stop. So hopefully we'll have Ted James on this morning. Why does Baton Rouge want to buy empty land? It's about stopping flooding. Southern Mississippi beaches test often for high levels of fecal bacteria. Oh my goodness, Q. There's doo-doo in the water in Mississippi. Very high levels. Southern Mississippi beach tests for high levels of fecal bacteria. Poo-poo. So I won't be going to any Mississippi beach anytime soon. Let's go further down to Destin, the Fort Walton Beach area, Pensacola even, Jax Beach. And finally, want to win $1 million? Well, there's 1 week left to enter Louisiana's COVID vaccine lottery draw, and we'll tell you how the numbers are looking. By the numbers, it's 46 minutes past the hour. We're late because I was late, but we got your news coming up right now. It's 46 minutes past the hour. Phone lines are always open at 318-483-9977. Q says it's still loaded, right, Q? Okay, you can go to that song. We'll Shaka Khan for you on this Hump Day Wednesday. Good morning. Hump Day Wednesday, y'all. Let's check out the forecast as millions of people are facing life-threatening storm surge, heavy winds, potential isolated tornadoes, and heavy rains that could create flooding up and down the coast of Florida. We're talking about Jacksonville, where my son and my grandbabies are. So I'm very concerned about the weather pattern that's very disturbing as Tropical Storm Elsa approaches landfall this morning. Elsa is churning off of the western coast of Florida with maximum sustained winds of about 65 miles per hour as she moves north on a collision course with the Big Bend region, where it is expected to make landfall late this morning or early in the afternoon. Let's go to Marty Calhoun. She's a meteorologist with the National Weather Service out of Lake Charles. Hey, Marty, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing all right. How are y'all doing?
We're doing fine. We're doing a lot better than the folks over there on the west coast of Florida are doing. But let's talk about here, particularly in central Louisiana, driving in this morning. Man, my visibility was, when I got to Alexandria, was about maybe 50 to 75 feet. I mean, the fog is as thick as pea soup this morning.
Absolutely. We were just looking at that. It looks like your clear skies and low wind speeds have made for quite some foggy conditions. We're looking at that should kind of start to clear out as the sun rises in the next hour or so.
When we take a look at today's forecast, there is rain in our forecast, I understand.
Oh, absolutely. It's quite the wet conditions across the northern Gulf Coast states, rather. We're looking at the potential for rainstorms today at about 80%.
Oh, wow.
With rainfall amounts upwards of 1/4 of an inch and even higher in heavier thunderstorms.
Okay, so today basically is a washout. If you plan on washing your car, don't do it. The rain's going to take care of that. As we take a look at Thursday and Friday going into the extended forecast, how we're shaping up?
I hate to say that we're not looking very much better. As I said, that this wet pattern is settling in, and so your rain chances for Thursday are upwards of about 60%. Friday is looking at about 40%. So you might see some breaks of rain and some scattered sunshine in there, but definitely keep that umbrella close.
All right, thanks a lot, Marty. We appreciate you. You try to stay dry today, okay?
Absolutely, and say the same to your family.
Thank you, sweetie. Appreciate that. Of course, Marty Calhoun, meteorologist with the National Weather Service out of Lake Charles, with today's Eyes Open statewide weather forecast.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tony Brown. This is your statewide news you can use on this Hump Day Wednesday. It's the 7th day of the month of July. News being brought to you by the Alexandria Emergency Room Hospital. A Louisiana man died after he was pulled unconscious from the Gulf of Mexico near Destin, Florida. The Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office reported the man's family noticed he disappeared from view a short time after entering the ocean. They called 911. First responders arrived at about 9:30 a.m. Life-saving measures were taken, and the man was transferred to a local emergency room, but he was declared dead shortly after being rescued from the water. A red flag warning was issued at 8:36 a.m. in the area's beaches due to dangerous surf and rip currents. The identity of the man has not yet been released. We do know that he is from the state of Louisiana. Out of Hammond, a grass-cutting crew found a body along I-55 Tuesday morning that may have been laying undiscovered for as many as 30 days, according to the Tangipahoa Hood Parish Sheriff's Office. The workers found the corpse at about 10:15 in the morning Tuesday on I-55 median exit 28 in Hammond. A Sheriff's Department spokesperson said the body remains unidentified. Detectives said they saw no indications of trauma to the body, which was wearing male clothing. According to the press release, the Tangipahoa Parish coroner has begun investigating the identity of the body and the cause of death. In Pineville, police are searching for two suspects following an armed robbery on July the 2nd at the Family Dollar Store, the Dollar General located at 3001 Highway 28 East. According to the Pineville Police Department, two armed males entered the store and demanded the cashier to put money on the counter. The suspects put an undisclosed amount of money in a black backpack and fled the scene on foot towards the wood line. The suspects were described, one as a black male, the other unidentifiable because of his face coverings and gloves. Both suspects were wearing dark pants and hoodies. In Alexandria, the defense attorney for Kayla Giles has filed 2 motions in her case ahead of her rescheduled trial date, now set for January the 18th of next year. On Friday, George Higgins filed a new motion to reduce Giles' $2 million bond and a motion to dismiss a contempt of court she received for an October 9, 2020 arrest on charges out of East Baton Rouge Parish. Giles is awaiting trial for the September 2018 shooting death of her estranged husband, Thomas Kuti Jr., in an Alexandria Walmart parking lot. She's charged with second-degree murder and obstruction of justice. The son of an unarmed panhandler fatally shot outside Trader Joe's last summer in Baton Rouge has filed a wrongful death suit against the Baton Rouge man charged with second-degree murder in the killing. Donnell Buckley, who is seeking monetary damages, also sued several insurance companies and a security firm over the death of his father, Danny Buckley. The lawsuit filed Tuesday claims 25-year-old Jace Boyd, who is white, and Danny Buckley, who is black, initially had a brief verbal exchange in the Trader Joe's parking lot on August the 22nd, and then Buckley walked away and proceeded to converse with 2 white women in their early 20s. Shortly thereafter, Jace Boyd became incensed, exited his vehicle, reapproached Mr. Buckley, and began an aggressive confrontation with him, the suit alleges. Boyd armed himself with a gun, aimed it at Buckley, and pulled the trigger, but the gun misfired, the suit says. Subsequently, Jace Boyd lowered his weapon, reloaded the gun with another bullet, repositioned himself in a shooting stance, and took aim at the hapless Danny Buckley before pulling the trigger again, this time carrying out his intentions of fatally shooting Mr. Buckley, the suit claims. Boyd's next scheduled appearance in criminal court is on Thursday. Under Louisiana law, justice can be attained through both criminal and civil means. Ryan Thompson, one of the attorneys for the Buckley family, said Tuesday in a written statement, the murder of Danny Buckley by Jace Boyd obligates Jace Boyd to repair the damage he caused to Mr. Buckley and Mr. Buckley's surviving son, Donnell. The filing of this civil suit is necessary to further protect the legitimate interests of the Buckley family. Boyd's attorney, J. Arthur Smith III, has said Boyd fired in self-defense. Boyd, who was also charged with illegal use of a weapon, told detectives during an interview that he was defending himself and others from Buckley, who was aggressively harassing customers in the parking lot. According to the police report, at least one witness has stated publicly that she did not feel threatened when Buckley approached her asking for money. Boyd remains free on a $300,000 bond since a week after his August 27th arrest, which followed significant public outcry. Police initially didn't detain him or even arrest him after he approached officers and said he had killed the man. Attorneys for the Buckley family have claimed the shooting constituted a hate crime. The lawyers have questioned whether police would have handled the case differently if a young black man shot an older white man in the same upscale Perkins Road shopping center. Prosecutors accused the alleged leader of a violent Baton Rouge drug ring Tuesday of burglarizing an associate's home and taking a pillowcase full of money just hours after the man's killing in September 2017. No arrests have been made in that slang. The Bill of Information filed Tuesday against Martrell Harris and 2 others for simple burglary, a felony, came less than a week after an East Baton Rouge Parish grand jury found insufficient evidence to indict him in 2 separate 2017 killings. One of those killings occurred September the 8th, 2017, the same day Harold Anthony was slain and his Greenwell Springs home was burglarized. 43-year-old Harris was arrested in March on 2 counts of first-degree murder, accused of hiring a hitman to carry out the April 22nd, 2017 killing of Lorenzo Dixon, a local rapper who performed under the stage name Zorella, and the September 8, 2017 slaying of David Walker. 68-year-old Walker was killed just hours after witnessing a double murder next door to his house in Old South Baton Rouge. The double homicide claimed the lives of 36-year-old Anthony and 40-year-old Donovan Cummings. Anthony and Cummings were repairing a flooded and burned home on Thomas H. Diapit Drive when they were chased and gunned down, police have said. Walker turned up dead in his car in front of Seneca Street home later that day. His house was destroyed in an overnight arson that weekend. No arrests have been made in those killings. Black state lawmakers on Tuesday called on the U.S. Justice Department to conduct a full investigation into systemic violations of constitutional rights within the Louisiana State Police after troopers' brutal beating of Ronald Green and a subsequent cover-up of the circumstances of his death came to light in recent months. Baton Rouge State Representative Ted James, chair of the Louisiana Legislative Black Caucus, said the group is sending a letter to U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland asking him to order the type of pattern or practice investigation that could end in a consent decree where the feds mandate police reforms. James decried a massive and systemic cover-up at state police, and specifically the Monroe-based Troop F, whose officers beat and tased Green in 2019. Quote, I think we owe it to the people of our great state to have the federal government come in and do this full-scale, top-to-bottom patterns and practice investigation to make sure that we are seeing what we are seeing happening at state police is eradicated, James said. An attorney for Green's family said previously the federal government has already outlined an expansive investigation into Louisiana State Police. Though the exact scope of that probe is unclear, attorneys for Aaron Bowman, who was struck 18 times with a flashlight in a separate 2019 run-in with state troopers, said they received a similar briefing from the feds. Green's death and other beatings have again put Louisiana in the middle of a national debate over police reform 5 years after Alton Sterling's death at the hands of Baton Rouge police officers sparked intense protests. The letter from the Black Caucus to the Department of Justice pointed to the beatings of Green and Bowen, but called them only the tip of the iceberg. Quote, the simple fact that Mr. Green was killed in police custody was a tragedy. The attempts to cover it up and place blame on the victim are shameful, the letter said. The Louisiana Legislative Black Caucus requested the Department of Justice to investigate the Louisiana State Police and unearth the true roots of these issues so that we may commit to our citizens some measure of safety and protection. The letter also asked for assistance for state police in providing investigative oversight to local police departments in the state. State police is often the agency that investigates use of force complaints at city police departments and sheriff's offices. The Black Caucus is a key ally of Governor John Bel Edwards, a Democrat, who appoints the top brass of Louisiana State Police. Former State Police Superintendent Kevin Reeves, an Edwards appointee who previously commanded Troop F, resigned in 2020 amid fallout from Green's death and other scandals. At the time, Edwards said he didn't lose any confidence in Colonel Reeves. Green died more than 2 years ago following a high-speed chase in Union Parish in 2019, after which troopers repeatedly beat and tased Green and dragged him by his shackles across the ground, by his feet. As officers stunned and beat the unarmed man, Green told the troopers, I'm your brother. I'm scared. I'm scared. For more than a year and a half, the agency tried to pin Green's death on injuries sustained in a crash at the end of the chase. Shameful. The Blue Zoo Aquarium inside the Mall of Louisiana has ramped up the search for Kara, the missing python, as they approached nighttime. As a nocturnal animal, Kara is most active at night, so staff hope it will be easier to find her. They plan to work throughout the night with the Baton Rouge Zoo and local snake experts in shifts so they can bring the snake to its enclosure and safe and sound. This is like we lost our child, said Rhonda Swanson, Blue Zoo's chief marketing officer. The snake escaped her enclosure Monday evening, Swanson said. After they were unable to find her Monday night, the aquarium closed for the day on Tuesday. Banter sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson was not on the Olympic roster released Tuesday by USA Track and Field, a decision that means the American champion's positive test for marijuana will cost the former LSU star a chance at running on the relay team in Tokyo, in addition to her spot in the 100 meters individual race. Richardson's positive test nullified her win at Olympic trials in Eugene, Oregon last month, and the spot that went with it in Tokyo in her 100. Her 30-day suspension will end before the start of the relays on August the 5th, which left open the possibility she could win a medal as part of the 4x100 relay team. But her name was missing from the roster USATF sent out. The Federation had two discretionary picks beyond the top four finishers in the 100-meter finals at the trials, but chose not to offer a spot to the 21-year-old sprinter who was expected to challenge for the Olympic goal. Asked about how Richardson was taking the news, her agent Ronaldo Skeets Nehemiah responded, "We haven't spoken about it at all. It was actually not a topic we focused on." In a statement, USATF said it was incredibly sympathetic towards Sha'Carri Richardson's extenuating circumstance and fully agrees that the international rules regarding marijuana should be re-evaluated. On his first day at LSU's new president and Chancellor William Tate IV implored students to get the coronavirus vaccine, said he wants to compete for top-level students the way that LSU vies for in-demand athletes, and promised to review LSU's recent Title IX changes. Tate gave a wide-ranging news conference Tuesday morning after he received his LSU identification card and planned to spend the day meeting with groups of students, faculty, and staff members. He said he is confident that LSU's reputation can recover from its recent blows, especially related to the university's handling of sexual assault cases by creating processes that people can trust. He also said he wants to install a scholarship-first mantra across the campus. East Baton Rouge is considering buying large swaths of empty swamp fields and woods throughout the parish as a way to hold rain runoff in an effort to prevent floods. The parish is eyeing a low-lying green patch on Lee Drive, Liberty Magnet High School, and St. James retirement communities, some 200 acres of lowland swamps along Bayou du Plantier. It also is looking at a wooded area along Ward Creek near Highland Road and land in the creek's upper watershed in other parts of Baton Rouge to the northwest. The projects are still in the early stages and haven't yet involved landowners, but the city parish has put together nearly $45 million in combined federal hazard mitigation and post-2016 recovery dollars to create a preserved 540 acres of new regional detention and existing floodplain area across the city parish. More than half their time, water was tested. 7 beaches along the Mississippi Gulf Coast showed potentially unsafe levels of fecal coliform bacteria, according to a new report from the Environment America Research and Policy Center. Coastal Mississippi, a tourism promotion agency, would not comment on the report. The national study used a federal database of water sampling data from almost 330 beaches in 29 coastal and Great Lakes states and Puerto Rico. About 1 in 10 beaches surveyed showed concerning levels of fecal bacteria on at least a quarter of the days they were tested. Fecal bacteria can cause stomach problems, lung illness, ear and eye infections, and skin rashes. Common causes for spikes in waterborne bacteria include runoff from streets and other paved surfaces, sewage overflows, failed septic systems, pet waste, and manure and fertilizer from farms. Some call the bacteria-laden stuff nutrients, but it's basically poop. And finally, the week after Governor John Bel Edwards announced the vaccine lottery with 14 prizes up ranging from $100,000 to $1 million, Louisiana saw a 14% increase in initial vaccination rates. With only 1 week left to enter the drawing for the first week's lottery prizes, residents continue to take advantage of the opportunity. The most recent data shows that 1,794,779 vaccine series have been initiated and 1,645,608 have been completed so far in Louisiana. This means that 38.6% of the population has initiated a vaccine series and a 35.4% have completed the vaccination process. Compared to 1 month ago on June 6, those numbers are up 2.9 and 3.6 percentage points. I'm Tony Brown. That's your statewide news you can use on this Hump Day Wednesday. Have a safe and a blessed day.
This is Eyes Open with Tony Brown on FM 107.5, The Vibe, and 1110 AM, KGTP, Alexandria Pineville.
Rapides Primary Healthcare Center is your federally qualified community healthcare center and is located at 1217 Willow Glen River Road in Alexandria. They are now accepting new patients. Are you tired of spending long hours in hospital emergency rooms waiting to receive non-critical healthcare services? Do you need affordable medical, dental, and mental health care? Do you need quality health care for you and your baby for prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood? Do you need to sign your family up for the Affordable Care Act or Medicaid? Then look no further than Rapides Primary Healthcare Center. It is the affordable, timely answer to all your family's health care needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapides Primary is certified KidMed site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance are accepted for medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, including Obamacare and Medicaid, call 318-487-5800. 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapides Primary Healthcare Center, a new beginning in quality healthcare and a proud impact partner of the Eyes Open Radio Network.
Did you get the COVID-19 vaccine? Now you can enter to win cash. 4 people will win $100,000 with one lucky vaccine recipient winning the grand prize of $1 million. Under 18, you can win one of 9 $100,000 college scholarships. So get the vaccine and take your shot at $1 million. To enter, visit shotatamillion.com or call 855-453-0774. Brought to you by the Louisiana Department of Health.
Hello, Sinla. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. Or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, and remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
Hi, this is Bianca Brown, the Mobile Cincy Lady. Are you looking for a dream job? Well, you need to give me a call today. I'm looking for new recruits to join my team of Cincy consultants. Join Cincy today and get your starter kit for only $99 plus shipping and tax. Benefits include additional income, flexibility, incredible friendships, world-class training, recognition, personal growth, discounts on amazing Cincy products, and the opportunity to earn fabulous incentive trips around the world like the all-expense-paid trip I earned to Cancun, Mexico. Interested in joining Cincy? Give me a call today at 318-618-1832. That's 318-618-1832. Please refer to my website, lapeacefulsense.cincy.us, for our income disclosure statement.
The Rapides Parish School Board is looking for volunteers interested in helping parents and educators make a positive impact in the lives of young people. If you, your business, your church, or community organization would like to help empower and elevate young people in our community, please consider being a mentor. Effective mentoring has the ability to help children both cope with and overcome many of the obstacles they face in today's world. Please visit our website or social media pages to sign up to partner with educators and parents to ensure the children of Rapides Parish have the supports they need. Let's continue to show the world that Rapides Parish truly is better together.
Hi, this is Dolores with Robinson Family Mortuary. The COVID-19 pandemic has been devastating to our community, and we have served numerous families affected by it. Planning a funeral is difficult, but a sudden loss during this pandemic can be even more stressful. Robinson Family Mortuary can help ease your stress and serves all of Central Louisiana, including Natchitoches, Oakdale, Marksville, Leesville, Fort Polk, and most every parish in the entire state. The newly renovated Robinson Family Mortuary is located at 1815 Military Highway in Pineville, and we can be reached anytime by calling 318-442-7300. That's 318-442-7300, or visit us online at robinsonfm.com. Robinson Family Mortuary, without delay, can arrange for a traditional funeral service, cremation, ship in or ship out, including military. We accept all assignable and verifiable life insurance policies. With just one call to 318-442-7300, all of your homegoing needs can be taken care of at our newly remodeled Robinson Family Mortuary. Robinson Family Mortuary, a family serving families.
Good morning, this is Q Johnson Green with your Eyes Open weather forecast on this Tuesday, July 6th. Today's forecast is brought
we're back right here on your premier morning news magazine. We're sounding okay online, Q? We need to check that out. Maybe during the next break. Check this story out, folks. This story is out of Ohio. This is national news that we're going to share with you this morning. An Ohio police chief retires after video shows him putting a Ku Klux Klan sign on a black officer's desk. CNN's Laura Jarrett reports on it. Check this story out. You're not going to believe this.
CNN anchor and correspondent Laura Jarrett. This is something.
All right, John, so it was all caught on camera, and it is not good. After 33 years on the job, Police Chief Anthony Campo is now off the force after surveillance video revealed him playing a racist prank on a fellow officer who happens to be black. Now, you can see Campo here. He's the one in orange. He's arranging a police raincoat there on the desk with the hood clearly visible. You then see him place a white piece of paper on the jacket. The words printed on the paper, Ku Klux Klan, covering up the police label on the back of the jacket there. Soon after, a black officer enters the room. He sees the coat and the sign, and he appears to try to laugh it off. Now, the video was provided to CNN without any sound, so it's unclear what they're saying to each other, but the mayor of Sheffield Lake says he spoke with that black officer who was involved, and the officer said that he laughed it off because he was uncomfortable and he didn't know how to react to all this. The former police chief was placed on administrative leave once this incident was reported, and he handed his retirement papers in that same day. Here's the mayor, Dennis Bring.
The chief was standing in his office and he made a joke, am I going to get fired over this? And I looked at the law director and I said, hand him his paper. And he said, after 30 years, this is what I get. And I said, you have 10 minutes to get out of your office.
CNN isn't naming the black officer that was targeted here, but we reached out to him. He's declined to comment. In a statement to CNN affiliate WEWS, Campo, that officer, the former police chief, says it was just a joke that, quote, got out of hand. CNN has reached out to him for comment and has not heard back. The new acting Sheffield Lake police chief declined to comment on all of this. So incredibly poor judgment, to say the least.
Extraordinary. And it put the black officer in a
terrible position.
It absolutely did. And let me just say this for the record, Q, for my listeners. We deal with racial stories and controversy all the time. We're not racist. We just expose it. I have white friends, and I live in, a community where I have white neighbors. We get along great. I don't have racism in my heart. But I'll say this to white people. If you're on the job, anything involving a noose or Ku Klux Klan is not a joke to us. It's that simple. If you're on the job, anything involving a noose at our workstation or the Ku Klux Klan, signs or whatever, is not a joke to us. Placing watermelons in police officers' personal trucks is not a joke to us. Bringing fried chicken into a roll call at the police station in Alexandria and putting, the assistant chief's name on it, who is black, calling him a trunk monkey. That's not jokes to us. That's systemic racism. It needs to be rooted out, and it needs to be dealt with, plain and simple. So for the record, anything involving something at our workstation that is racist, even though you might be close to us, it is not a joke. And you could be in a situation like this poor idiot, 30 years on the job with the city, making a stupid judgment move, cost him his job. He had 30 minutes to clean out, 10 minutes. The mayor said, right, Q, 10 minutes? You got 10 minutes to clear out your workstation. This is what I get after 30 years? Yeah, because what you did in 30 seconds just wiped out 30 years of what you did, if you did any great police work. Speaking of racism, check this next story out, Q. It involves ESPN attempts to contain controversy embroiling the network as NBA Finals get underway. The New York Times first published an explosive story regarding a disparaging comment Rachel Nichols, who is white, made about colleague Maria Taylor, who is black, on Sunday. On Tuesday night, the fallout was visible on ABC. Instead of Nichols on the sidelines of the NBA Finals as the games got underway, viewers instead saw rising star Malika Andrews covering the Bucks. So basically, she was in her hotel room. This is something that happened last year. The camera was still rolling, apparently. She said something, got caught on tape, and it got exposed. Let's go to the very latest here, Q. Let's go to the beginning. I want people to hear this story.
After fallout from a controversial audio recording released in a New York Times report. In the conversation, which took place last year, Nichols can be heard complaining that ESPN chose Maria Taylor, who's a black female employee, for NBA Finals coverage instead of her. CNN has not independently obtained this recording, and Nichols has not denied its authenticity.
Now, in it, she reportedly says, in part, I wish Maria Taylor all the success in the world. She covers football, she covers basketball. If you need to give her more things to do because you're feeling pressure about your crappy long-time record on diversity, which, by the way, I know personally from the female side of it, like, go for it. Just find it somewhere else. You're not going to find it from me or taking my thing away. Brian Stelter is CNN's chief media correspondent and anchor of Reliable Sources. So who's going to replace Nichols, and what is ESPN saying about this?
Malika Andrews is going to be the sideline reporter when the NBA Finals start on ABC tonight. So ESPN is kind of sidestepping this, or trying to, by not having Rachel Nichols or Maria Taylor, and so it'll be Malika Andrews filling in. She, like Maria, is black. Now, ESPN says, we believe this was the best decision for all concerned in order to keep the focus on the NBA Finals. So, really, again, to sidestep this controversy, so Nichols will keep hosting her daytime show, but she won't be in prime time for the time being. Nichols was right that ESPN was facing pressure about diversity last year, and rightly so. And of course, ESPN should be under pressure to make the network look more like America. But I think there's a key paragraph in this New York Times expose that sums it up. Multiple black ESPN employees said they told one another, after hearing this leaked conversation, that it confirmed their suspicions that outwardly supportive white people talk differently behind closed doors. I think that's at the heart of this controversy.
Everybody talks differently behind closed doors about everything. I mean, not just about racial issues. People talk differently in the privacy of their own hotel room. And I just want to say,
and that's part of the story,
this was
too.
a private phone conversation in her own hotel room. She didn't know that her camera was still on, and I just think that we need to say that.
She called it a spy video. She thought she was having a private call with a friend venting, and she says it was a spy video, but this video then circulated all around ESPN and created this internal controversy for a year that we are just learning about now, and this notion that Nichols was suggesting that one of her colleagues was only getting a job because her colleague is black, that was really at the heart of this controversy. Meantime, Maria Taylor is not commenting. She's not saying anything about this. In fact, Rachel Nichols said she's reached out to Maria to apologize, and Maria has not returned those phone calls or texts.
Rachel Nichols did apologize yesterday, so let's hear what she said.
So the first thing they teach you in journalism school is don't be the story. And I don't plan to break that rule today or distract from a fantastic finals. But I also don't want to let this moment pass without saying how much I respect, how much I value our colleagues here at ESPN, how deeply, deeply sorry I am for disappointing those I hurt, particularly Maria Taylor, and how grateful I am to be part of this outstanding team.
So she has received support from some of her colleagues, but you're saying that no response from Maria Taylor.
Right, no response from Maria Taylor. And there's also a subtext to this about business, about economics. Maria Taylor's in the midst of a contract negotiation. She may leave ESPN in a couple of weeks. So to have this come out now may have benefited her in that contract negotiation. Now, she says there's been experiences, she told ESPN, Maria Taylor, that there was other times at ESPN last year where she experienced racial insensitivity. And, at the same time, we have Rachel Nichols pointing out, she's one of the women at ESPN in an organization dominated by men. She knows what it's like to experience those diversity pains. So I think this, ultimately is about management at ESPN and ultimately about management at television networks, about representing, again, what America is on television, and both Nichols and Maria Taylor actually can relate to that issue, that challenge.
So, and he did a great job of kind of summarizing and summing it up. What outwardly, what some white people tell us on the workplace and in our face is quite different from how they really feel when the rubber meets the road. So that got exposed, and that happens all the time, folks. Everybody who comes in, I love black people, and you come over to my house, this, that, and the other. They may do that outwardly, but inwardly, there's still that systemic racism. So what we're talking about, unfortunately, is ESPN's problem. They pitted two women in a male-dominated environment, institution, so to speak, and that shouldn't be the case. They should have more women, many more women, and those two women shouldn't be fighting for a spot. ESPN has more room than just for one woman, and apparently she alluded that the only reason why the black girl got the chance to sit at the desk and anchor was because she was black, and that she's being used as a token because ESPN is getting pressure because they're not diverse enough. The people that ESPN cover
particularly when it comes to the major sports, basketball, football, and to a certain extent baseball, is dominated by people of color. In baseball, whether they're black or Spanish or Hispanic or Cuban or Puerto Rican or from Colombia, Panama, you probably have more South American or Spanish-speaking black men who are on national baseball teams than you do of American men, because of the simple fact that the baseball parks have disappeared. The community recreational centers where we learn. Programs that teach baseball at an early age are gone for the most part, are too expensive for some parents, particularly black parents, to try to mitigate. When you got 3 or 4 kids trying to put them in a league for the summer and get everybody with suits and uniforms, it's problematic. So back in the 50s and the 60s, all you needed was a glove, a old beat-up ball, and, you could go around, you had the recreational centers, and you play baseball, you play softball. We don't have that anymore. So our children aren't being trained in that sport of baseball. But you go down to Panama, you go down to Puerto Rico, where I saw the camps, when they're pulling these kids out of grade school, and putting them in these baseball camps supported by the Mets, the Giants, and then they only take a small fraction of them. So they dedicate their entire educational system to baseball, not getting an education, and then after they reach a certain age limit and they don't produce, they get kicked to the curb. So all of their education time is gone. Their dreams of being a major league baseball player in America is gone. And out of 100 kids, only 1 gets a shot at it. So it's to me, it's like a turnstile of a slavery mill. A slave mill is what it is. You're taking kids that need to be getting education and giving them the pipe dream that they're going to be a major league star in America. And that's why you see a greater influx of Spanish-speaking black men playing baseball in the National Baseball League than you do of American men, that we used to, the Hank Aaron's, the Reggie Jacksons, and the Barry Bonds, and all those great African-American baseball player big leaguers. So CNN has a problem. It's 27 minutes past the hour. Let me read one more little story here that I got. I want to update the story about the hockey player who was killed in what amounted to a fireworks accident. They're calling it that. Matisse Kiviniks, a goaltender for the Columbus Blue Jackets of the National Hockey League, died Sunday night after a fireworks accident at the home of the team's goaltending coach, a spokesperson for the organization said Tuesday. Kiviniks was a guest at Coach Manny Legay's home in Novi, Michigan, a suburb of Detroit, for a party celebrating Legay's daughter's wedding, a spokesperson for the Blue Jackets said. Kiviniks attended the July 4th party with Blue Jackets teammate and fellow Latvian Elvis Merzlinski. So they're from, overseas. Kiviniks, who's 24, died from a fireworks mortar blast and chest trauma, according to the Inspector Mitch Brown of the Oakland County Medical Examiner. The death was ruled accidental after a full autopsy was conducted. So the chest injury from the fireworks resulted in internal injury. So a mortar shell, some kind of way. How does a mortar shell that's supposed to be standing upright, being shot into the air, gets directed into a hot tub where this young man was soaking? That's the question I want to ask. Somebody was taking the mortar shells and pointing them at people. Did it fall over? Maybe the wind blew it over and tipped over and aimed and it shot and it hit this man smack dab in the chest. That's like a projectile, like a gun, hitting him in the chest, or a hammer, a sledgehammer. Those mortars, particularly those big ones, can kill. We've had situations, I've reported stories where people put them on their chest, just running around, they put the mortar on their chest, are trying to hold it. Those people who put them on their chest and do that, they die instantly because of the impact and the force of that blast. It's an explosion. And, you shouldn't be nowhere around it once you light that fuse. It's 29 minutes past the hour. Eyes Open News Time. Good morning. Everyone, I'm Tony Brown. This is your statewide news you can use on this Hump Day Wednesday. It's the 7th day of the month of July. News being brought to you by the Alexandria Emergency Room Hospital. A Louisiana man died after he was pulled unconscious from the Gulf of Mexico near Destin, Florida. The Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office reported the man's family noticed he disappeared from view a short time after entering the ocean. They called 911. First responders arrived at about 9:30 a.m. Life-saving measures were taken, and the man was transferred to a local emergency room, but he was declared dead shortly after being rescued from the water. A red flag warning was issued at 8:36 a.m. in the area's beaches due to dangerous surf and rip currents. The identity of the man has not yet been released. We do know that he is from the state of Louisiana. Out of Hammond, a grass-cutting crew found a body along I-55 Tuesday morning that may have been laying undiscovered for as many as 30 days. According to the Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office, the workers found the corpse at about 10:15 in the morning Tuesday on I-55 median exit 28 in Hammond. A Sheriff's Department spokesperson said the body remains unidentified. Detectives said they saw no indications of trauma to the body, which was wearing male clothing. According to the press release, the Tangipahoa Parish coroner has begun investigating the identity of the body and the cause of death. In Pineville, police are searching for two suspects following an armed robbery on July the 2nd at the Family Dollar Store, the Dollar General located at 3001 Highway 28 East. According to the Pineville Police Department, two armed males entered the store and demanded the cashier to put money on the counter. The suspects put an undisclosed amount of money in a black backpack and fled the scene on foot towards the woodline. The suspects were described, one as a black male, the other unidentifiable because of his face coverings and gloves. Both suspects were wearing dark pants and hoodies. In Alexandria, the defense attorney for Kayla Giles has filed two motions in her case ahead of her rescheduled trial date, now set for January the 18th of next year. On Friday, George Higgins filed a new motion to reduce Giles' $2 million bond and a motion to dismiss a contempt of court she received for an October 9, 2020 arrest on charges out of East Baton Rouge Parish. Giles is awaiting trial for the September 2018 shooting death of her estranged husband, Thomas Kuti Jr., in an Alexandria Walmart parking lot. She's charged with second-degree murder and obstruction of justice. The son of an unarmed panhandler fatally shot outside Trader Joe's last summer in Baton Rouge has filed a wrongful death suit against a Baton Rouge man charged with second-degree murder in the killing. Donnell Buckley, who is seeking monetary damages, also sued several insurance companies and a security firm over the death of his father, Danny Buckley. The lawsuit filed Tuesday claims 25-year-old Jace Boyd, who is white, and Danny Buckley, who is black, initially had a brief verbal exchange in the Trader Joe's parking lot on August the 22nd, and then Buckley walked away and proceeded to converse with two white women in their early 20s. Shortly thereafter, Jace Boyd became incensed, exited his vehicle, reapproached Mr. Buckley, and began an aggressive confrontation with him, the suit alleges. Boyd armed himself with a gun, aimed it at Buckley, and pulled the trigger, but the gun misfired, the suit says. Subsequently, Jace Boyd lowered his weapon, reloaded the gun with another bullet, repositioned himself in a shooting stance, and took aim at the hapless Danny Buckley before pulling the trigger again, this time carrying out his intentions of fatally shooting Mr. Buckley, the suit claims. Boyd's next scheduled appearance in criminal court is on Thursday. Under Louisiana law, justice can be attained through both criminal and civil means. Ryan Thompson, one of the attorneys for the Buckley family, said Tuesday in a written statement, the murder of Danny Buckley by Jace Boyd obligates Jace Boyd to repair the damage he caused to Mr. Buckley and Mr. Buckley's surviving son, Donnell. The filing of this civil suit is necessary to further protect the legitimate interests of the Buckley family. Boyd's attorney, J. Arthur Smith III, has said Boyd fired in self-defense. Boyd, who was also charged with illegal use of a weapon, told detectives during an interview that he was defending himself and others from Buckley, who was aggressively harassing customers in the parking lot. According to the police report, at least one witness has stated publicly that she did not feel threatened when Buckley approached her asking for money. Boyd remains free on a $300,000 bond since a week after his August 27th arrest, which followed significant public outcry. Police initially didn't detain him or even arrest him after he approached officers and said he had killed the man. Attorneys for the Buckley family have claimed the shooting constituted a hate crime. The lawyers have questioned whether police would have handled the case differently if a young black man shot an older white man in the same upscale Perkins Road shopping center.
Prosecutors accused the alleged leader of a violent Baton Rouge drug ring Tuesday of burglarizing an associate's home and taking a pillowcase full of money just hours after the man's killing in September 2017. No arrests have been made in that slaying. The Bureau of Information filed Tuesday against Martrell Harris and two others for simple burglary. A felony came less than a week after the East Baton Rouge Parish grand jury found insufficient evidence to indict him in two separate 2017 killings. One of those killings occurred September the 8th, 2017, the same day Harold Anthony was slain and his Greenwell Springs home was burglarized. 43-year-old Harris was arrested in March on 2 counts of first-degree murder, accused of hiring a hitman to carry out the April 22nd, 2017 killing of Lorenzo Dixon, a local rapper who performed under the stage name Zohuela, and the September 8, 2017 slaying of David Walker. 68-year-old Walker was killed just hours after witnessing a double murder next door to his house in Old South Baton Rouge. The double homicide claimed the lives of 36-year-old Anthony and 40-year-old Donovan Cummings. Anthony and Cummings were repairing a flooded and burned home on Thomas H. Diapit Drive when they were chased and gunned down, police have said. Walker turned up dead in his car in front of Seneca Street home later that day. His house was destroyed in an overnight arson that weekend. No arrests have been made in those killings. Black state lawmakers on Tuesday called on the U.S. Justice Department to conduct a full investigation into systemic violations of constitutional rights within the Louisiana State Police after troopers' brutal beating of Ronald Green and a subsequent cover-up of the circumstances of his death came to light in recent months. Baton Rouge State Representative Ted James, chair of the Louisiana Legislative Black Caucus, said the group is sending a letter to U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland asking him to order the type of pattern or practice investigation that could end in a consent decree where the feds mandate police reforms. James decried a massive and systemic cover-up at state police, and specifically the Monroe-based Troop F, whose officers beat and tased Green in 2019. Quote, "I think we owe it to the people of our great state to have the federal government come in and do this full-scale, top-to-bottom patterns and practice investigation to make sure that what we are seeing happening at state police is eradicated," James said. An attorney for Green's family said previously the federal government has already outlined an expansive investigation into Louisiana State Police. Though the exact scope of that probe is unclear, attorneys for Aaron Berman, who were struck 18 times with a flashlight in a separate 2019 run-in with state troopers, said they received a similar briefing from the feds. Green's death and other beatings have again put Louisiana in the middle of a national debate over police reform 5 years after Alton Sterling's death at the hands of Baton Rouge police officers sparked intense protests. The letter from the Black Caucus to the Department of Justice pointed to the beatings of Green and Bowen, but called them only the tip of the iceberg. Quote, "The simple fact that Mr. Green was killed in police custody was a tragedy. The attempts to cover it up and place blame on the victim are shameful," the letter said. The Louisiana Legislative Black Caucus requested the Department of Justice to investigate the Louisiana State Police and unearth the true roots of these issues so that we may commit to our citizens some measure of safety and protection. The letter also asked for assistance for state police in providing investigative oversight to local police departments in the state. State police is often the agency that investigates use of force complaints at city police departments and sheriff's offices. The Black Caucus is a key ally of Governor John Bel Edwards, a Democrat, who appoints the top brass of the Louisiana State Police. Former State Police Superintendent Kevin Reeves, an Edwards appointee who previously commanded Troop F, resigned in 2020 amid fallout from Green's death and other scandals. At the time, Edwards said he didn't lose any confidence in Colonel Reeves. Green died more than 2 years ago following a high-speed chase in Union Parish in 2019, after which troopers repeatedly beat and tased Green and dragged him by his shackles across the ground, by his feet. As officers stunned and beat the unarmed man, Green told the troopers, "I'm your brother. I'm scared. I'm scared." For more than a year and a half, the agency tried to pin Green's death on injuries sustained in the crash at the end of the chase. Shameful. The Blue Zoo Aquarium inside the Mall of Louisiana has ramped up the search for Kara, the missing python, as they approached nighttime. as a nocturnal animal, Kara is most active at night, so staff hope it will be easier to find her. They plan to work throughout the night with the Baton Rouge Zoo and local snake experts in shifts so they can bring the snake to its enclosure and safe and sound. This is like we lost our child, said Rhonda Swanson, Blue Zoo's chief marketing officer. The snake escaped her enclosure Monday evening, Swanson said. After they were unable to find her Monday night, the aquarium closed for the day on Tuesday. Banter sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson was not on the Olympic roster released Tuesday by USA Track and Field, a decision that means the American champion's positive test for marijuana will cost the former LSU star a chance at running on the relay team in Tokyo, in addition to her spot in the 100 meters individual race. Richardson's positive test nullified her win at Olympic trials in Eugene, Oregon last month, and the spot that went with it in Tokyo in her 100. Her 30-day suspension will end before the start of the relays on August the 5th, which left open the possibility she could win a medal as part of the 4x100 relay team. But her name was missing from the roster USATF sent out. The federation had two discretionary picks beyond the top four finishers in the 100-meter finals at the trials, but chose not to offer a spot to the 21-year-old sprinter who was expected to challenge for the Olympic gold. Asked about how Richardson was taking the news, her agent Ronaldo Skeets Nehemiah responded, "We haven't spoken about it at all. It was actually not a topic we focused on." In a statement, USATF said it was incredibly sympathetic towards Sha'Carri Richardson's extenuating circumstance and fully agrees that the international rules regarding marijuana should be re-evaluated. On his first day at LSU's new president and Chancellor William Tate IV implored students to get the coronavirus vaccine, said he wants to compete for top-level students the way that LSU vies for in-demand athletes, and promised to review LSU's recent Title IX changes. Tate gave a wide-ranging news conference Tuesday morning after he received his LSU identification card and planned to spend the day meeting with groups of students, faculty, and staff members. He said he is confident that LSU's reputation can recover from its recent blows, especially related to the university's handling of sexual assault cases, by creating processes that people can trust. He also said he wants to install a scholarship-first mantra across the campus. East Baton Rouge is considering buying large swaths of empty swamp fields and woods throughout the parish as a way to hold rain runoff in an effort to prevent floods. The parish is eyeing a low-lying green patch on Lee Drive, Liberty Magnet High School, and St. James retirement communities, some 200 acres of lowland swamps along Bayou du Plantier. It also is looking at a wooded area along Ward Creek near Highland Road and land in the creek's upper watershed in other parts of Baton Rouge to the northwest. The projects are still in the early stages and haven't yet involved landowners, but the city parish has put together nearly $45 million in combined federal hazard mitigation and post-2016 recovery dollars to create a preserved 540 acres of new regional detention and existing floodplain area across the city parish. More than half their time, water was tested. 7 beaches along the Mississippi Gulf Coast showed potentially unsafe levels of fecal coliform bacteria, according to a new report from the Environment America Research and Policy Center. Coastal Mississippi, a tourism promotion agency, would not comment on the report. The national study used a federal database of water sampling data from almost 330 beaches in 29 coastal and Great Lakes states and Puerto Rico. About 1 in 10 beaches surveyed showed concerning levels of fecal bacteria on at least a quarter of the days they were tested. Fecal bacteria can cause stomach problems, lung illness, and eye infections and skin rashes. Common causes for spikes in waterborne bacteria include runoff from streets and other paved surfaces, sewage overflows, failed septic systems, pet waste, and manure and fertilizer from farms. Some call the bacteria-laden stuff nutrients, but it's basically poop. And finally, the week after Governor John Bel Edwards announced the vaccine lottery with 14 prizes up ranging from $100,000 to $1 million, Louisiana saw a 14% increase in initial vaccination rates. With only 1 week left to enter the drawing for the first week's lottery prizes, residents continue to take advantage of the opportunity. The most recent data shows that
6% of the population has initiated a vaccine series, and a 35.4% have completed the vaccination process. Compared to 1 month ago on June 6th, those numbers are up 2.9 and 3.6 percentage points. I'm Tony Brown. That's your statewide news you can use on this Hump Day Wednesday. Have a safe and a blessed day.
The Rapides Parish School Board is looking for volunteers interested in helping parents and educators make a positive impact in the lives of young people. If you, your business, your church, or community organization would like to help empower and elevate young people in our community, please consider being a mentor. Effective mentoring has the ability to help children both cope with and overcome many of the obstacles they face in today's world. Please visit our website or social media pages to sign up to partner with educators and parents to ensure the children of Rapides Parish have the supports they need. Let's continue to show the world that Rapides Parish truly is better together.
All right, we're back right here on your premier morning news magazine. And of course, I'm glad to have in the studio with us, folks. Probably only maybe a handful of times I've actually had a chance to have him in the studio. Certainly no stranger to Eyes Open, but he is a regular whenever we can get him. And whenever we ask for him, he always makes himself available, certainly to our listeners, and that we're most appreciative. We have Rapides Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Jeff Powell, in with us this morning, live in the studio. Brother, always good to see you.
Good morning,
Thanks
Tony.
for coming in. This is, I met you in your office when you first started a job a couple of years ago, and then I think one other time you came into the studio at your request, because, we had the COVID-19, and, and then I requested that you come in because I hadn't seen your face in a minute.
That's right.
So it's good to see your friends, every now and again. It looks like we talk to each other all the time, but to see you in person, see you lost a few pounds, see you got your ankle all straight, so you're looking pretty good, man.
I appreciate
you had a little
it, Tony.
vacation. Look like you got a little sun too, brother.
We did. We go to the beach every year, so we've enjoyed it, and but been back in the saddle for a couple of weeks now.
Well,
so.
fantastic. So we've been talking, and certainly this week have been talking about this initiative that you have, and God bless you for it. I've been saying for years, because of the lack, particularly, I'm going to talk to my community, in the African American community, when you go and you see teachers, most of the teachers, you would have to agree, are women. In Alexandria, there's very few male men who are teachers because they're not getting into the field like they used to back in the 50s and the 60s. We had a lot of men who were educators, who became principals, when I was coming up, certainly even when you were coming up. But having a black man's face in a school district that's almost void of male teachers, not because it's you guys' fault. I think, you guys need to step up your recruiting, certainly when it comes to Grambling and Southern University, because they're cranking out educators, and you guys need to go. And I know you have been really big on trying to diversify the staff within the school district. It's important for black children to see people who look like them.
Yeah, no question about it, and I'm very thankful for the partnerships we have with all of our universities, including Grambling and Southern, and our HR department does a great job of going to these schools. COVID kind of made us do a lot of things virtually, because at their choice, but we're definitely active in recruiting from all of those areas. I'm also super proud that Northwestern State University actually has a scholarship program specifically for attracting African American males into the field of education.
Absolutely.
And so anybody that is interested in pursuing that, I encourage them to contact Ms. Naomi Jones, our HR director, because as we continue to show the world that Rapides truly is better together, it means all of us pulling together for the needs. And we do have a very diverse community. Rapides Parish is the second largest geographical parish in the state of Louisiana.
It is.
We are a diverse population, but we're also just a wonderful community. Every community has their challenges, but we have opportunities to help our young people see that we can pull together, and particularly, I've said since I've been here, people are more encouraged to pull together specifically for our children. And we all know that not only are they the leaders that we need for tomorrow, but in order for them to be leaders tomorrow, we have to be their leaders today. And so we really challenge everybody to whatever that means in our line of work or what we do in the community, we have to be that example for our children to pull together and work together to solve problems.
Absolutely. So this call to action, I'm calling it because that's what it is. There's a call of action in Rapides Parish right now that the superintendent is engaged in, looking for mentors for these kids in the school. Who are you looking for?
Anybody and everybody. If you have a heart and a passion to help the young people of this community, we need you. Our parents are working hard, our educators are working hard, but the research is clear that when children have another adult speaking on their behalf, leading them, guiding them, even if it's just for an extra hour a week, to sit down, spend time with them on things that young men and young women need to hear about being successful. You know, spending that 30 minutes a day reading, you know, focusing in on your homework. You know, I'll say it till I die, you know, education is the great equalizer in society.
Absolutely.
Once you earn your education, nobody can take it away from you, just like nobody can separate you from the love of God. So if we can encourage our young people to continue to strive for that education, and we're just looking for some more voices to speak into the lives of our young people. Sometimes, you know, we have young people that start getting into some kind of trouble there at the school, and once we get to the root cause, it's really not what's going on at school, it's other aspects of their life.
At home.
And so many of our parents are willing to say, look, if y'all have got somebody else that can help me speak life into my child or my grandchild or my niece or my nephew whom I'm trying to raise, then I will gladly allow that to happen. And so we're encouraging fraternities, sororities, church leaders, community leaders, business leaders, everybody who has a heart for children, youth pastors, come be involved. We have a short survey at our website, rpsb.us, very easy to find. It's also on our social media pages at Facebook, Instagram. Just complete that quick survey. As we get closer to the opening of the school, we'll call everybody in and we'll talk about the actual program outline. And Tony, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that about 3 years ago, prior to me becoming superintendent, the Rapides Parish School Board initiated a mentoring task force. Former board member, Mr. John Allen, he was instrumental in talking about mentoring and trying to get mentoring to be a big deal here in our parish. And then we had people stepping up like Mike and Sheila Johnson, Representative Mike and Sheila Johnson, as well as members of the DA's office, the sheriff's office, school board, all stepped up. Mr. Clyde Washington led that task force there at the school board office, and we're now implementing recommendations that came out of that task force. We have a position at the central office who one of their goals, there's twofold to their job description, and one of those is mentoring.
Okay.
And so we're dedicated to providing more opportunities for children to have other people speaking into their lives.
Absolutely, you know, because I've been talking for years, in the nearly 20 years I've had this show, on occasion I've had maybe 4 or 5 mothers from other school districts, whether it's Beauregard, DeRidder, and I can remember them calling me, pleading for help, and bringing them up for them to come hang out with me just for a weekend and talking, can you talk to my son? I've gotten that a lot of times, and I've never turned down a parent, because a lot of times in our community, particularly in the African American community, it's the women who are raising these children, and many of them, whether it's mass incarceration, whether it's, you know, socioeconomic problems, whether it's drug addiction, whatever the case may be, poverty is certainly a big portion. Many of these fathers are not in their lives for whatever reason. And when you have a young black child who only sees women when he goes to school, nobody positive black male other than the guy who's sitting on the corner with his pants sagging dealing dope. So it is. I'm asking all of my friends, if you're in the business sector, fraternities, sororities, and not taking anything away from the women, but our boys are in trouble, and I'm asking men. Whether you're a businessman, if you're doing something positive in your church, I'm asking church fathers, church leaders, I'm asking millennials, 30, 40-something years old, 50, young men as well, who may have gone down the wrong path, who can speak some wisdom and some knowledge into these children. That's what Jeff are looking for. They're looking for mentors who can be a big brother or a big sister, so to speak, in these young people's lives. And like you said, 1 hour, or maybe a couple hours a week would make the world of difference, because it's amazing when I get calls out of the blue. Mr. Brown, or they call me Uncle Tony, he's graduated from Northwestern University. He's now married with kids. This is a little kid that was running afoul that his mother said, I can't do anything with him. Mr. Brown, can you hang with him for the weekend? And that I took in under my wing, spoke to him, went on and got his degree, now is married with children. So that little injection of positivity, or someone who looks like him, because if he can do it growing up, how he can, you know, explaining to that I came up with a single parent mother for the most part. I grew up in the projects in Lake Charles. I grew up, you know, my mom on occasion was on Section 8, obviously. I don't think she ever had food stamps, but I am you 50 years ago. I am you. And if I can do it, and I'm just like you, education is the key. It is the great emancipator. It is the great equalizer. It makes the world a difference. You know, your income is better. Your health is better. Opportunities are much better. The higher you achieve in education, and for parents who realize that, like my mom, God bless her, that education was the key to release ourselves from that heirloom poverty that goes from generation to generation. So I commend you, because I've never seen a program that actually go out, a school district, and say, we need mentors. Go to the website, sign up. We'll be calling you guys in, and I'm going to be one of the first ones to sign up. I know my business partner is as well, because I've told other superintendents prior to you, Jeff, that there needs to be some sort of program where they can see us, where we can go and talk to them. So I'm glad and thankful for the opportunity, because I've been begging to get into the classroom to tell these children, because I can remember people like me who look like me come into my class as a child, whether we're doctors, whether we're dentists, and me just being in awe. That, wow, you know, I can see this guy. So I commend y'all. So you also wanted to talk about, so what if they're listening to me and they want to help, male, female, what do they need to do?
Go to our website, rpsb.us, click on the survey. There's a nice little caption there for a call for volunteer mentors. It's going to take you to a quick survey. I think it maybe have 15 questions. And you hit on something I want to mention too. Even if you've made some mistakes in your past that may, come up in a background check or record check, still sign up. If we can't use you in the school system, we have we are partnering with other entities across the community, with the sheriff's office, with some of these others. The program Scared Straight, helps our young people when they're headed down the wrong direction. So there are opportunities for everybody. So if they want to come in there, there's obviously some prohibitive charges that we have to look out for. But the bigger picture is if you've got a story to tell, we've got young people that need to hear it.
And I know, because anytime y'all allow people from outside to come in the school system, about background check is necessary.
Absolutely.
Because you have to check that out, anybody around children. So hopefully I'll clear the background check. I don't think I have any problem. As a matter of fact, I still should be in y'all system to be a
substitute.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I used to go, before I got this show, I used to do a little 2 or 3 month little run.
We got to make sure we get you called in this year.
Yeah, maybe I might take off a week and go on the class, but I loved it. Yeah. I loved seeing where the kids were, seeing and identifying the problem kids, and I would pull them out, particularly little black boys, and have a talk with them. Yeah. I never had a problem with them all week. And I had a secret weapon. My secret weapon was bringing in my toy poodles. On the last day, if they behaved, that Friday,
little reward for
them. They talk about these kids would be great, especially like those little kids in the grade school. When I would bring the dogs in on that Friday, the whole class would just light up and let them pet. So I love watching children learn. I love, appreciating their youth and them, because their minds are like sponges, and all kids need access to positive role models, whether they're male or female. Let's talk about this upcoming school year. Well, how's summer school coming along?
Man, summer school has been one of the most amazing things that I think Rapides Parish has seen in a long time. We've had close to 3,000 students almost every day. It's dropping down a little bit, so parents, grandparents, keep encouraging your young people to come. We don't want to see that drop off. We've got another, they're finishing out this week and then next week, and then that's the end as we get ready for the upcoming school year. But everything from focusing on those academic acceleration pathways for literacy as well as mathematics. But what's been really exciting is seeing young people who may not have had the opportunity in the past get involved with some of our theater camps, our band camps, our athletic camps, our robotics camps. I mean, all across the district. It's
so
been
they're
amazing.
having fun, and they're learning, but they're having fun as well.
They're connecting, Tony. One of the things that research points to is when children don't see themselves in that next step, that's where they lose that connection, and so they'll drop out of school early. What they'll say
around the 8th grade.
That's right, and what they say is students drop out mentally and emotionally way before they drop out physically. And so what we're trying to do is make those emotional connections very early on. We employed over 160 high school students to help tutor and mentor these young people over the course of this summer.
Great.
So it's been amazing, and we focused on K-12 feeder systems. So the students from Acadian and Martin Park and Alma Redwine are getting to go over to Peabody Magnet High School in the afternoons and make those connections with those teachers there and those students there. And same thing with Bolton, Tioga, Pineville, Buckeye, Ash, all over.
That is fantastic. We had something similar when I was in high school, where we went in high school and talked to the junior high school students. We presented a workshop about drug addiction, and the use and misuse of drugs. So it was called Substance Abuse Preventive Education. It was a pilot program from the state. We were introduced on the legislative floor. I remember it was a big deal. And there were newspaper articles. So I'm glad that you have young people going into the younger kids and actually mentoring them as well.
Absolutely.
So man, you're doing it all the way around. Next school year, there were some things that, some points that you wanted to make in reference to next school year.
Absolutely, and you're going to be hearing a lot more about this, but to all the parents and the community out there, you're going to see us focus on 3 very specific goals. One tailored toward our lower elementary, one tailored toward our upper elementary and middle school, and then tailored toward our high school. For lower elementary, Head Start through 3rd grade, we have to have a literacy revival in Rapides Parish. Children have to be able to read. We can talk about all of the other factors. We can talk about all of the other symptoms that are related to poverty, that are related to crime, that are related to all of these other things, and almost every single one of them can point back to a root cause of literacy. And so parents, community leaders, children should be reading at least 30 minutes a day. Let's work with them. Let's spend time with them. I promise you, our educators in the classroom are dedicated and intentional. You're going to hear that word a lot this year. We're going to be intentional about changing the narrative around literacy. Our statewide data, and Rapides is no different. 3rd grade mastery level scores on the statewide assessment. Only 46% of the students in the state of Louisiana meet mastery, which is what's considered proficient. Rapides Parish is no different. We have got to do better, but it's going to take us all pulling together. So that's our early childhood to 3rd grade campaign. We have to have a literacy revival.
Let me ask you this, because I've seen kids, having been a substitute teacher not only here but in Calcasieu Parish, kids who might can even sound out the words and read a sentence, but they can't comprehend what they've read.
You have to comprehend it.
Because that's part of reading, not just sounding out the words and being able to identify, well, yeah, I know that, but I gave you a sentence with a subject, a verb, and an object agreement, and after you've read the sentence, now what is the sentence saying?
Right.
So comprehension is a part of reading, and that's part of the dynamic that a lot of kids just can't comprehend. They can make the sound out the word, but they can't comprehend and know what it is that they just read.
Right. And you're going to see, like I said, a very intentional purpose with that from the education side, but we want to bring everybody into that conversation. So I'll be talking to Rotary, I'll be talking to Kiwanis Club, I'll be talking to churches, I'll be talking to groups all over the parish on how we can all chip in to bring this literacy revival to Rapides Parish.
That's absolutely, because Louisiana is at the top of the list. And we have a lot of grown people. We have probably the highest concentration of grown people who cannot read in this country. We're number 1 or number 2 next to Mississippi.
Well,
So
we
it's
can change
problematic.
that. We have the power to change that when we all pull together.
It's unfortunate, sometimes you'll go and a kid will go, whether they finish Rapides, Calcasieu, or any school district, and then, they go out to the real world and they can't even fill out an application. It's problematic. So it's a real problem when you tell me about 46% have the mastery level in the 3rd grade. That means that we have a larger amount of who are just not meeting the basic needs of mastering and comprehending what it is that they need to do as it pertains to reading or literacy.
So for early childhood up to 3rd grade, it's this literacy revival.
Great
for
stuff.
our 4th grade through
Revival,
8th grade,
I like that word.
we're going to do it. For 4th grade
Preach,
through
preacher.
8th grade, there's going to be a huge focus on growing students. So wherever they come to us for 4th through 8th grade, literacy, math, science, social studies, you're seeing a big push at the state level in our state accountability system. How much are we growing children? We understand that kids come to us at a different level. Children come to us from different backgrounds, different experiences, different levels. We have to grow them. The second thing that we really want to focus on with those 4th to 8th grade students is making sure that they are getting connected to some of these high school programs as well as career opportunities. And most of our students in the 8th grade are taking what we call Quest for Success, which is a career development class for them to start thinking about what do you want to do in the future. And so for 4th through 8th grade, two major focuses. We got to grow them academically, which is largely going to happen in the classroom, but we're going to keep that literacy focus, right? Read 30 minutes a day. And then second thing, we've got to connect them with co-curricular and extracurricular things. You know that the research is more clear on co-curricular and extracurricular involvement than anything else that we do.
Wow.
Students, children that are involved in co-curricular or extracurricular activities come to school more, behave better, and perform higher. Parents, community leaders, everybody that's listening, we need to encourage our young people to get involved in the co-curricular and extracurricular activities that are offered both at the school level and in the community. If it's football, if it's baseball, if it's robotics, if it's band,
speech,
if it's
choir,
theater, if
all
it's
of that.
church teaching Sunday
Newspaper,
school, if it's
yearbook staff. So I'm mentioning everything that I was in, because when I went back, I was looking. I lost my yearbook and I ordered a new one, and I was looking at my name for graduation, and I looked at the extracurricular activities. And what parents need to realize, and students as well, is when colleges are looking at applications, and they are looking for diversity in the student. They're not just looking for the straight A student.
That's right.
And then when you look next to the name, well, they didn't do anything in school. All they did was focus on school. They're looking for diversity. You know, they're looking for someone who's student body president, somebody who was a treasurer in a chess club, somebody who was with the future business leaders of America. You know, the future athletes of America, FCA, football. So when you have all of that next to you, and you have, let's say, an average, or in my case, I had a 3.65 GPA with all those extracurricular activities. Every college I applied to, I got accepted. Yeah. Despite not doing very well on those ACT scores.
Standardized tests,
Absolutely, because back then they were much harder, and I didn't do well on standardized tests. But I did well in school and extracurricular activities, and that really got me, a full scholarship to Xavier. But I went to University of Houston, so I'm telling parents and imploring y'all. Bottom line, what he's talking about doing is certainly in the 1st through 3rd, that literacy campaign, as well as teaching kids to start thinking about what they want to do in the future for the older kids. What grade were you in, or what age were you when you knew that you wanted to go into education as a field?
So the earliest I remember talking about it was in the 5th grade. I said I wanted to be a mathematician, is what I said I wanted to be, and then I became a 7th grade math teacher. So
I was in the 3rd grade, and I saw Brian Gumbo on the Today Show, and my grandmother was sitting, and she said, and my grandmother said, that's what I want you to do. I want you to be a broadcaster with television, and I knew in the 3rd grade. And I prepared myself at 8 years old, started reading billboards and a radio voice. Mom, shut up, boy, in the background. So I would read it like I was a DJ or something like that, and here I am today, owning a couple of
my wife still tells me to be quiet when I try to use my radio voice.
My wife does the same thing to me as well, but I guess my voice is now a radio voice, because it's real problematic. I was tell you the story real quick. I was in the doctor's office. I was telling about the foot doctor in Natchitoches, and me and the doctor were talking, and then some lady knocked on the door and came in. She worked for him, and she said, "Hey, Mr. Brown, I just want to come in and meet you." And the doctor said, "You know her?" I said, "I don't know." That's a safe thing to say. She said, "No, you don't know me, but I'm a fan of your show." She said, "Well, how did you know him?" I heard his voice. Yeah, so sometimes your voice speaks for you, even outside of, and that happens all the time, and that's a blessing. So I love what you're doing. Is there anything else you want to mention?
So I just want to mention the high school goals. So you're going to see us being very, very intentional.
So you got the early
age, the middle ages, and the high school. Parents, community leaders, I need everybody to understand that children in the Rapides Parish Public School System have the opportunity to graduate with industry-based credentials that will land them great. They can be an EMT. They can be a welder. We're expanding all of those different opportunities right out of high school. But not only that, so if they want to go to a skilled labor force, or if they want to have an associate's degree from college, we are laying the foundation for students who are entering high school to be able to graduate high school with an associate's degree. Pineville High School had a few kids, I think 9 students do it a couple years ago. We're fixing to expand that to
enrollment, right?
So that it through dual enrollment. We can dual enroll through Northwestern, through LSUA, through Louisiana College, and through CLTCC. We have great partnerships with all those universities. You're going to see a heavy emphasis on the ACT, which is the driving factor for TOPS as well as other scholarships. So standardized tests are there. We still got to pass those end of course exams in order to graduate high school according to the Louisiana graduation standards, but you are going to see a heavy focus that by the end of the 10th grade, parents, community leaders help encourage our young people. We're going to choose the right path by the end of the 10th grade. We're on that course selection request. We're going to focus on those welding classes or those EMT classes. We're going to focus on those dual enrollment classes. We're going to make sure that every student that graduates from Rapides Parish Public Schools has a great opportunity to catapult them into the future that they choose, and we're going to help guide them and support them along that pathway.
Yeah, I've seen, even here, the dual enrollment is so successful for students who take advantage of it. I've seen one a child close to me who actually got a high school diploma and associate's degree before she even went to college.
That's
I mean,
exactly
she hasn't
right.
even gone to Southern yet, and she's already ahead of the game. They didn't have those type of programs when you and I were coming up. I remember my history teacher asking me and a couple other students that she thought were exceptional or excelled if we were interested in taking college credit courses at McNeese. And I was like, my mind wasn't right, and I was like, go to more school while I'm in high school? Oh, man, I'm not hearing that noise. But if I was smart and somebody, if I had a mentor to tell me, Tony, this is what you want to do. This is going to give you a leg up. When you get to college, you're going to have 6 credit hours. You're going to be ahead of the game. You can actually graduate early. I didn't understand
and not
that.
have to graduate with all that debt.
Absolutely.
Because everything we're talking about is virtually free.
Get out of here. So you get an associate's degree while you get a high school diploma for free if you handle your business. That is amazing. That's some good stuff, Jeff. I like the ideas. I like the whole concept. I want you to come back on in a couple of weeks, and we can do this maybe week after next and do this again.
We'll do it.
Yeah, so we can make a push. I'm going to sign up. I'm going to go to the website right now, just as soon as we're done with the interview, and go ahead and fill out the survey, and hopefully, I'll fit the bill, and you guys can give me a call.
Let's do it.
Anytime.
Let's
okay?
do it.
God bless you, brother.
Thanks,
Keep
Tony.
up the good
Appreciate
work.
it.
That's our superintendent of Rapides Parish Schools, Mr. Jeff Powell, talking about the initiatives coming this fall, talking about the summer program, and of course the need and putting out a Macedonian call, so to speak, for mentors to go to the Rapides Parish School Board website. There's a small survey to sign up. Whether you have a college degree or not, that's not important. You will have a background check, so you do know that, but they're looking for positive male and female role models who can go in and participate in this big mentoring initiative that the Rapides Parish School System is engaged in. So I like what you're doing, man. That's good stuff. I love it. We're going to have more eyes open when we come back, folks. Don't go away.
The Rapides Parish School Board is looking for volunteers interested in helping parents and educators make a positive impact in the lives of young people. If you, your business, your church, or community organization would like to help empower and elevate young people in our community, please consider being a mentor. Effective mentoring has the ability to help children both cope with and overcome many of the obstacles they face in today's world. Please visit our website or social media pages to sign up to partner with educators and parents to ensure the children of Rapides Parish have the supports they need. Let's continue to show the world that Rapides Parish truly is better together.
Hello, Sinla. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. Or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears. And remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
Hi, Hi, this is Bianca Brown, the Mobile Cincy Lady. Are you looking for a dream job? Well, you need to give me a call today. I'm looking for new recruits to join my team of Cincy consultants. Join Cincy today and get your starter kit for only $99 plus shipping and tax. Benefits include additional income, flexibility, incredible friendships, world-class training, recognition, personal growth, discounts on amazing Cincy products, and the opportunity to earn fabulous incentive trips around the world like the all-expense-paid trip I earned to Cancun, Mexico. Interested in joining Cincy? Give me a call today at 318-618-1832. That's 318-618-1832. Please refer to my website, lapeacefulsense.cincy.us, for our income disclosure statement.
Hey y'all, spring is here and you're ready to get out and celebrate. Here's what's happening around the state. June 3rd through 5th, Bugs and Bands in Kickapoo. June 4th through 6th, Bon Mange in Gaines and Sicilian Heritage Festival in Independence. June 5th, the Peach Festival in Ruston and Cajun Country Jam in Gonzales. So make your plans to laissez les bon temps rouler.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaIsATrip.com.
The people who care at CD's Tree Removal in Alexandria would like to take this special time out to recognize and salute the men and women in uniform who are standing tall for our political and economic freedom around the globe. Let's remember them in our thoughts, prayers, and letters from home. This message courtesy of our good friends at CD's Tree Removal at 7707 Highway 1 South in Alexandria. They are always working to keep our community moving in a positive direction.
right, we're back right here on your premier morning news magazine. You know what? I have been so impressed with Louisiana's Legislative Black Caucus. We had the chair of the Legislative Black Caucus on last month talking about the wrap-up of the legislative session, them using black power, really, the black power and the voice that we gave them to hold up tax legislation so that they can remove what we perceive as a racist head of the Education Committee in the House of Representatives. And it got done. They used our voice, which I call being able to vote, and using their legislative prowess, so to speak, what I call black power, to hold up major legislation until they got this guy removed. In the 19 years I've done this show, I've never seen that type of move coming from the caucus, and now when I see and I look at the headlines that the Legislative Black Caucus held a major press conference looking for credibility and accountability with the Louisiana State Police. It says black state lawmakers yesterday called on the United States Department of Justice to conduct a full investigation into the systemic violations of constitutional rights within the Louisiana State Police after troopers' brutal beating of Ronald Greene and a subsequent cover-up of the circumstances of his death came to light in recent months. So not only do you have the problem with Ronald Greene, there was Aaron Bowman, who also, after seeing the story of Ronald Greene being murdered at the hands of state police and then a 1.5 year cover-up of him dying in an accident, is problematic. So if we have the Louisiana State Police, which we entrust to protect and serve not only us on the highways and the byways of Louisiana, but local jurisdictions, local police departments, local parish sheriff's office depend on them to come in and oversee investigations when there are police-involved shootings. So if the very agency at the top of the food chain is corrupt, how can we expect them to do a great job of investigating unarmed deaths of black people or anybody at the hands of local police or local sheriff's office? When the people at the top that we depend to oversee these localities are corrupt and covering stuff up, that is a huge problem. We don't have anybody to go to. So we do have our Legislative Black Caucus, which is stepping up, of course, under the leadership of my frat brother, my good friend, and attorney, Ted James. He is the chair of the Legislative Black Caucus. Ted, Noob, always a pleasure to get you on. Man, what a great letter that y'all sent to the Justice Department, because we need some answers of not only, to me, the brutal beating death of Ronald Greene at the hands of these state police, these many white state police officers, but the cover-up afterwards for 1.5 years, to me, is just as bad or even worse than the actual murder of Ronald Greene.
That's what the letter, the beating and the death is of course a tragedy.
Yes.
And then the cover up, is just shameful, and that is one of the reasons why we have asked the feds to come in. Many folks have asked, what took you guys so long? And one of the things that, we're not rushing to do anything. And we have had some internal things going on, and we've had some meetings. We made some requests of certain documents. So we were waiting, because with these things, the feds are not going to just come in because we asked.
Mm-hmm.
So what we have been doing is very strategic in building a record, right? So the feds know, hey, well, the state tried to do this, but they couldn't. And the colonel keeps telling us, we have some guys that have since retired, and technically he can't, or legally he can't bring some of these folks in for questioning. And I said, well, okay, well, good. Who can bring them in? The United States Department of Justice. And what we're seeing now for the first time, and we talked about this yesterday, when we have these conversations in the black community, police officers come and they show up and they say, oh, guys, we want to be partners with you, and you have a responsibility. If you want to clean up your neighborhood, when you see something, say something. And what I've always challenged them to do, when you need to clean up your police department, when you see something, say something. So for the first time, we're seeing not one but two troopers, one white and one black. So, brother, that speaks to just the importance of this issue. This not just black folks talking about the corruption in state police. You have a white trooper who has come out, who didn't come out anonymously. He put his name, his reputation on the line, and he's saying that at every corner, the top brass at state police stopped me from doing what we should have done, and that's arrest some of those troopers who beat the hell out of Ronald Green and killed that man. And that is something that we don't take lightly, and I think that, you know, the Justice Department is not going to see favorable on the fact that we have troopers who are now saying our department is just eroded with corruption.
Absolutely. And Ted, you know, my motto is come clean or stay away nasty. Whenever white folk at the top screw up, like in the case of this sexual misconduct case in LSU, they bring a brother in. You know, white guy at the top of the state police. Now they got a new brother that they brought in. So I always say that whenever there's something dealing with racism or sexism, you know, certainly to the least of our brethren, they bring in one of us to fix the problem. Certainly if there's a racial component, and the state police investigation is no different. Now, do you believe, and certainly the attorney for Ronald Green alluded to it maybe a week or so ago, and I've talked to both of those attorneys, that say that according to both families that the Justice Department say they are doing an expansive investigation. Do you think you guys' request is asking for something different, or y'all asking them, because I see in a headline, y'all wanted a complete investigation from the tip top of the command structure all the way to the bottom?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, what you know about it's just like a body, right? If you have an illness that just festers in one part of the body, at one point it's just going to manifest itself throughout other areas of the body.
That's right.
So it's not, if this is being done in Troop F, it's being done all throughout.
That's right.
The department. So what the attorneys, and I've had conversations with them as well, we were able to actually, Aaron Bowman, his family and attorneys were able to see his video for the first time because of the caucus. So it's been almost 2 years for him, and we pushed and made sure that they were able to at least get that transparency. And one of the things that we know when these shootings happen, you know, it's been 5 years since Alton Sterling down here. And, you know, the ironic thing is, you know, I was one of the first people to say, hey, bring in state police to investigate this. And now I'm sitting here looking at this investigation and the fact that we still don't have justice to Alton Sterling, and I'm like, damn, I made a huge mistake by trusting state police, because I know that this tragedy in 2019 that we know of, you know, if this was being covered up in 2019, you damn sure better believe that they were doing the same thing in 2016.
You know,
and it's not just, you know, unfortunately, you know, like we're in a fraternity, but if one of our frat brothers went out there and did wrong, we gonna make sure that their brother is called out, because it makes all of us look bad.
Absolutely.
Right? So I get the fraternal nature of policing, but you know, you don't get into a brotherhood to allow one of your brothers to go out there and make everybody look bad. And that's what state police has done. And now they have some of those officers who I want to just commend those guys. Now they're coming out and they're speaking up. And what we ask justice is to look top to bottom. We want every corner scrubbed, because we know that, and what I'm thinking, brother, is that once they complete this Ronald Green, they will probably have come to this realization that the issue is much more larger than Ronald Green, because that Faye Morrison, the attorney, who had to be, and this is another problem, don't remove her and put her in another area. She needs to be fired.
Yes.
And I get that there are civil service rules, but some of the things that she's done, you know, you fire her and you make her sue you, and then you bring out all of the bullshit that she's done, and then you send her on her way.
Absolutely.
You know, and folks keep hiding behind civil service. You know, civil service is a protection, and of course, you know, I agree with the protections as a former state worker, but there are things that are egregious enough, and you can fire somebody with cause, and you coaching officers on how to beat the hell out of black people and get away with it, that's cause enough for her to send her ass home.
Absolutely.
And that's the problem that I'm having even with the leadership structure today. Stop sending people to another area of the department, because that's just moving the cancer, you know, from your foot to your elbow.
That's right.
You know, you are not getting rid of it, and somebody like that will continue to fester and just, you know, harm the entire department.
Absolutely, and then, you know, what I don't like, certainly at local levels, when you got the state police investigating unarmed deaths at the hands of local police or local sheriff's deputies, how they come in and clear the people. Now, I started this show in 2002 on April 15th, and I started because I was shocked at the amount of unarmed black people being killed at the hands of police and nobody really doing anything about it. The local mainstream media, a little bitty press release, word for word, taking it from the police report, reporters not going out and talking to the family, not going out to the community to talk about what happened. And in these more than 19 years I've had this show, Newt, not once, and I've been tracking unarmed murders, and there's been hundreds of them in the 19 years at the hands of police here in Louisiana. Not one time ever in the 19 and a half years I've been doing this show have I seen the state police investigate an unarmed shooting of a black man at the hand of local police or local sheriff and actually make an arrest or say this was wrong. I've never ever seen it happen, and to me that's problematic. Why are we still going to the state police when all they're going to do is co-sign on what the local police are doing and say it was problematic, but you know it was within the rules? I'm tired of that noise. You telling me in 19 years there's never been a shooting in which the police were wrong? And y'all clear everybody in the investigation? I've never seen them pull somebody out, with the exception of those two black guys down there in Marksville when that colonel came down on the same day and went on a press conference and threw those black officers under the bus when that white man used his car as a weapon to back into them, knowing that he had his child in there. He didn't do any time. The child ended up dead, and both of those black officers went to jail. So that's the only time I've ever seen the state police, and then they came out on the same day, and the colonel, you know, painted the narrative. I've never seen this sort of atrocity happen. I've never seen that happen to white officers, but it happened to these black guys. So the only time I've ever seen the state police say this was a bad shooting, these guys need to go to jail, when it involved two black guys over there in Marksville, and I know you know the case I'm talking about.
And law school classmate from right there in Alexandria, Jonathan Goins, was one of the defense attorneys on that case.
Absolutely.
And he said it then.
Yes.
You know, and and I remember him saying, you know, one day folks are gonna open their eyes, and I think that day has finally come.
Yes.
And that's one of the other issues that we want justice to look into. You know, all of these different instances where they've been called in, and you know, I've had calls from law enforcement officers all across the state, and they're telling me several instances when they called in state police and state police decided not to do much.
Absolutely.
You know, but what I'm asking them is, look, you know, I've done my part, you know, and not to say that it's over, but we gonna need some of these officers to start stepping up like these two brave troopers have done, because they are the ones that know where the bodies are buried. I don't know that. You know, the members of my caucus, we don't know that. But you know, if you're a police officer and you know that you call state police in for something you saw, and there should have been some action taken, and things weren't. That's the type of information that the feds are going to need to know.
Well, actually, and not only that, we need to make a plea to those righteous officers out there to stop looking the other way. Certainly African-American officers, like in the case down there in Baton Rouge with that Ardoin guy. It is not until they set you up of receiving stolen, because they set you up, is what they did, of receiving stolen property, and then after you purchased the property, you lost your job, and then it was not until after you lost your job until you started speaking up and saying, well, maybe I did this, but they've done far worse, and he started exposing it. So don't wait till you get your hand caught in a cookie jar. When you see bad policing, you need to report it immediately. And if you're a black cop and you see a white cop mistreating a black suspect, I don't care if he's a suspect, I don't care who he is. When you see him punching him or beating him, calling him the N-word, cussing at him out of his name, and you'll sit back and you do nothing, absolutely, to me, that's problematic for me, Ted, and I have a problem with that. I know you do as well.
We passed a law now that officers have their duty to intervene. So at this point, from this point on, if an officer sees something and they don't intervene, that officer can be held liable for the same type of discipline.
Wow.
And that was the intent of the law, and we're hoping that they're including this and officers know this in their training moving forward, because, you know, again, you know, we could do so much with passing the law, but we got to have folks out there that going to make sure that it's applied the right way.
Absolutely. Luke, man, I commend you and the Legislative Black Caucus. You know, keep me posted. If y'all hear from the Justice Department, certainly let me know what they said. Do y'all anticipate on hearing from the Justice Department, Ted?
Usually respond. You know, I was monitoring their website the other day. They've announced that they're doing some of these same investigations into other departments, Louisville, up there. There's another one that they just announced. So I know that that their hands are tied and they're full right now. But I would suspect that they will come back and tell us that the Ronald Green investigation takes priority, and I can see that it should take priority before they you know, look at the entire department. So we'll be following up, but recognizing that there's already an investigation going on here that they probably need to complete first for their family, and then we'll make sure that we keep pushing. But once we get a response, either, you know, yay or nay, or, you know, we'll get back to you after Ronald Green. I'll make sure that we let you guys know.
Yeah, and certainly in this Ronald Green case, you know, it's baffling the logic that why no arrests have been made in this case. We saw what we saw. The cops have exposed it. He was clearly murdered. You know, that is in the record. So why are not the murderers being held accountable? And that is the big problem, that these officers who do wrong have not been arrested at all. And that's a big problem. Yeah, so we need some arrests, and hopefully you guys' efforts in your letter will do what it's supposed to do, and we can come back and police can start getting arrested for violating people's civil rights. And of course, if they know that they're going to go to jail to do something, you know, right now it's so systemic that they said, I can beat up somebody, I'm not going to have a problem, my supervisor's going to cover it up. And that is the growing sentiment in Louisiana when it comes to law enforcement. So I want to thank again Ted James. He is the chair of the Legislative Black Caucus here in Louisiana, as they're asking the Justice Department to do a full investigation from top to bottom of the Louisiana State Police. Ted, always a blessing, my friend. Thank you for the access. Ted, you there? Okay, I must have lost Ted. So wonderful job, Ted. We appreciate it. We're going to have more eyes open when we come back. Don't go away.
Eyes Open with Tony Brown on FM 107.5, The Vibe, and 1110 AM, KGTP, Alexandria, Pineville.